Hi friends, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my training series. Thanks a lot to everybody for watching. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you're hanging in there. For me, another week of training done, so let's get into it. After a few weeks of increasing workouts, this week was a recovery week and a little bit overall less intensity. Monday was a rest day. On Tuesday, I was assigned an easy run. I ran slow and easy, and then after work, I did yoga. And I was really happy that this week yoga felt a little bit less bad than last week. I was feeling a bit more flexible. So, yay, feeling really good about improvements. On Wednesday, I was assigned LT intervals. Yuck. After a warm-up, I did 5 cycles of 4 minutes hard and 2 minutes easy. These were less intensity than the previous few weeks, but I still couldn't run hard on my little uphill course for 4 straight minutes. A couple of times I did stop just to catch my breath. I find these LT intervals to be very humbling. In the afternoon, I did my core strength workouts. I worked really hard. And in fact, hours later at dinner, I noticed that my legs were still buzzing. I had worked out so hard that day. It felt good though. On Thursday, I had another easy run. This time I took it to the streets. On Friday, I had another rest day. It was nice to sleep in, but I did end up having kind of a rough emotional morning. Rest days are nice for my body, but I think sometimes my mind immediately misses the lack of a workout. Anyway, I got through it. For my Saturday long run, I was assigned 2 hours. It was raining really good on Saturday, so I got pretty wet. Okay, we're about to go up a steep hill. Oh boy. Thank you, hill. Okay, well, good run today. About 8.9 miles, but so wet. Look at my gloves. Hey, I squeeze them. I mean, I've already been squeezing them a bunch, so the water's already gone, but I'm just waterlogged. Even though I was completely soaked at the end of the run, this run felt really good, so I was really happy about it. Finally, on Sunday, another easy run, this time about 70 minutes, and I didn't feel very good. I'm having a feeling today that I've had several times before. It doesn't happen very often, but every few months, every couple months, I feel sweaty. I feel kind of clammy. I don't know how to describe it, but it isn't a great feeling. It was a lot warmer during this run. I think it was a little bit muggy too. So I wonder if the high humidity just did something to make me not feel great. I think previous times when I've had this kind of feeling, humidity was a factor. So I did continue on, and after halfway through the run, things felt a lot better. So that's it. It was a lighter week, 14 miles fewer than last week. And then we'll be soon starting another progression of effort for the next few weeks. And a couple of things to look forward to. I've got a marathon coming up in a couple of weeks, and then a weekend of travel for some fun running. So there will be more coming with longer efforts coming up. Okay, I've got a lot of great questions to look at today. Thank you everyone for dropping questions in the comments below. It's fun to engage with you in this way, so let's get started. All right, so I got a question about the plantar fasciitis that I referred to in a recent video. I know plantar fasciitis can really stop a lot of athletes, so I feel quite lucky that mine is very mild. I oftentimes don't feel it at all. In fact, probably most of the time I'm completely unaware of it. But every once in a while, especially after a long run, when my body is sort of tightening up, I will find that my right foot has this plantar fasciitis pain. So I just try to stretch it out and use that ball or do the heel dips on the stairs. Various things like that have helped me and take care of it pretty quick. But even if I am still sore the next day and a run is assigned, I just run on it. Even if I'm sore at the beginning of the run, it usually takes hardly no time at all before, during the run, I'm not having any pain at all. Okay, a question about navigation and a phone versus a watch. I mean, the reason why I use a phone over the watch primarily is for screen size. I'm old and my eyes don't work very well. And even though, yes, I could use a map on my watch, it's tiny. And you have to use these buttons to pan the screen up and down and left and right and zoom in and out. I don't understand the interface. I don't want to understand the interface. I'd much rather use a big screen like on my telephone where I can zoom in and just really have a much better experience engaging with the maps. So for me, it's just a lot easier to carry the phone and have the maps on there. And then in a related question, Becky asks about the course marking at Cocodona. You know, the course at Cocodona is marked, but I think they say that it's not overly so. And the runners are actually required to carry the course on a GPS device, whether it be a watch or a phone or something else. And you have to have the maps downloaded so that you can use it offline, because you probably won't have service in a lot of places. So it is a requirement as part of the required gear that you have a GPS device. So I find it just good practice to know how to navigate with it as well. So when I create my own adventures, I can use the same tools to help me make sure I'm on my own course correctly. And during Cocodona, I did often check the map once in a while if I was in between course markers for a long time, just to, if I had any question at all that I was still on course, I often, pull out the phone and check Gaia GPS to make sure I'm in the right place. All right, so let's talk about how do I plan my routes and versus time versus mileage. I don't have a lot of problem if I'm told to run 2 or 3 hours or however many hours. I generally run the same pace kind of all the time. I mean, I might vary it by a minute or 2 or 3, but it's not like one day I might run a 9-minute mile and then the next day run a 17-minute mile and completely throw out my expectations of the workout. So if I'm told to run something about 2 or 3 hours, or let's just say 3 hours, for example, I'm probably not going to maintain a 5-mile-per-hour pace. What's that, 12-minute mile? I'm probably not going to maintain that the entire time. I'll get it sometimes, but I'll usually, for that duration, I might be closer to around like 13 minutes. So it's easy for me just to especially if I look back at my running history, to see where have I recently run for about 3 hours, then that might be one of the things that I select for that week. But generally, I still do it based on pace and just do some math to figure out how many miles I should go. And it generally works to be approximately correct, so it works out for me. There's a great question about how you can train for elevation when you live on the flats. I don't have a lot of experience with this question, but I think you should check out the Florida Trail Runners podcast. I happened to listen to episode 26 after Cocodona in the 2022 year because I had run a bunch with Dave Krupski during that first night, and he was interviewed on this episode together with Michelle Taylor, and they talked about how they trained for vert living in a place that has no vert. So check that out, and maybe that will give you some ideas. All right, will I start to do some longer runs? Yeah, long Saturday runs will get longer and longer as we get closer to Cocodona. And as I talked about in a recent video, I work on the actual routes, or I design the routes that I'll run for each of my workouts, but I don't design the overall workout plan. I work with a coach for that. And so she'll tell me what the mileage is or the hours on trail assignment is, throughout the week, and then I just do that. So there will be some big run build-ups coming up, and so stay tuned. You'll see how it all happens. All right, do I have any concerns about wildlife? Quite honestly, I don't. I am respectful of the animals, and I certainly am constantly listening to hear if there's anything I need to be aware of. I have actually run into one mountain lion in my life and one bear. My biggest problem are owls. They seem to like me, and I've been swooped several times, one time even drawing blood. But I guess even with that, I'm not necessarily out there running in fear. I generally think the animals are as afraid of me, or maybe more afraid of me than I am of them, and they just kind of want to get out of the way. Run with confidence, but be smart. I think that's the way to do it. Okay, do I use compression stuff? Actually, mostly no. I usually will try to wear compression socks after a big event. I think that it can help keep the swelling down afterwards, especially if I'm going to have a long drive after the event, or if I have to fly home after the event. I will wear compression socks during that time, but I never run with any compression anything. And then lastly, how many shoes am I currently running in? I'm currently cycling through 5 pairs of trail shoes and 3 pairs of road shoes. And so in a typical week, I might run in 2 or 3 different trail shoes and use either one pair of road shoes for both my runs, because sometimes I'll run a couple times during the week, or I'll maybe use 2 different road shoes in a week. I do like mixing it up and having my feet feeling different feelings from the different shoes, and then some shoes are better for a longer workout versus some shoes are better for a faster interval workout. Yeah, I love cycling through the shoes. So yeah, thanks a lot for all the questions. That's it for this week. If you have any questions that I can answer in the next video, please put them in the comments below, and we'll see if we can answer some more questions next week. Okay, well that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.